Hi guys, I just wanted to come on board and just have a quick chat. I haven't been on for a long time, I know that. And for that, I apologise, but I really haven't had a great deal to say. I've been busy with clients, of course, but um, I just wanted to come on now and tell you that there's been changes for me as well. I'm still obviously doing hypnotherapy, but I've also been working very closely with a psychologist in the UK, and he's from the prison services over there. His name's Dr. Bob Johnson. You can find him on YouTube, you can find him on Netflix, etc. But he worked at Parkhurst Prison on the Isle of Wight, and he worked with all of the serial killers over there. Charles Bronson, for one, as everybody seems to know who he is. Tom Hardy played him in a film. But he's worked with all of them, and the worst of the worst, if you like. And I've been working with him for, I don't know, the past 12 months or so now. I'm using his theories in my sessions with clients, as well as hypnotherapy. It's extremely powerful. And what we look at are parental footprints. It's all of those things from our past, those emotions from our past, be it good or be it bad. You know, we've locked away, we lock these things away, but they in turn can start sort of glitching down the road, if you like. And it can be, people can be smoking weed, they can be taking drugs, they can be drinking, there could be anger, internal rage, there could be PTSD, OCD, anxiety, depression, people feeling that they're not good enough. And a lot of these things we've internalized from our childhood, really. You know, when when we're first born, we're with our parents. Our parents are our life support. They mold us and shape us into the person that we are today, be it good or be it bad. You know, if say your mum had depression or whatever, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get depression, or you're going to be anxious, or you're going to be a drinker or a smoker or whatever, because you saw that it's a learned behavior. That anger, if there was abuse, childhood abuse, mum was screaming and shouting, whatever, or dad, that can also play out in today's world. And those painful scenes, because they are painful, they are scary, is often been blocked. And as we go through life, things happen, things are said or whatever, and it all kind of layers on top, on top, on top, on top, and it becomes almost like a pressure cooker. And then, it can come out in a rage, or it can come out, if they're doing drugs or whatever. That's like self-medicating. You're trying to hide from the past because it's too scary to look. It's too scary to, get that key, open the box and look in. It's too terrifying. And that's what it is, speechless terror, if you like. It's too scary to look at it. And I know, like with these serial killers, a lot of that, it's an internal rage that's held there. But because it's too frightening for them to subject themselves to it, to look at it, that internal anger, they learn to talk with their fists. Hence, they go on to kill, and they do it very successfully. They end up in prison. Um, but those fears, you know, it's all suppressed from when they were children. Because they haven't addressed issues from their past, it's playing out in today's world. They're glitching, if you like. And it's when they start to understand where these things have come from and how to deal with them, then they can start to heal, they can start to mend. It's like a maze, really. You're stuck in the middle of a maze. You don't know your way out. Each way you go, you get blocked. And you follow that same path. And each time you follow that same path, you're going to end up at the same spot. So then you come and see somebody like me, and then I take you on another path and show you the way out, show you where to look, give you that key to undo it all, you can heal. When you can understand and you can see the pattern that you've created, you can heal. And I find that problems follow families, and it can be like, oh yeah, my nan was a smoker, my mum was a smoker, so I'm a smoker, and then the kids become smokers, or whatever the issue is. It, even anger, for instance, it can go on. It problems follow families, and so when somebody comes to see somebody like myself, they can undo and break the chain. That's what it is. Break the chain. People come to see me and they feel helpless, because they don't know. For one, they don't know where to look. They're confused. They're scared, and they're lashing out. And it can be, they're either lashing out at loved ones with anger, or they're lashing out at themselves. Hence, self-abuse, self-sabotaging, if you like. And all that anger, all that childhood crap, if you like, they've held on, and they've held on very well, because that's been their life support. But as an adult, you don't need to hold on to it anymore, because it ruins lives, it ruins families. And I come along, somebody like myself comes along, and we're, if you like, emotional plumbers. And I come along with my squeezy thing, and you know out it comes. And then everything can run straight, can run free. It's like pulling the plug out and letting it go. Because when we're kids, very young, we haven't got a voice, so you don't speak out, you can't verbalize how it's making you feel. And so these feelings are shut down, shut very, very tight. And kids are helpless. Our parents are our life support. you know we can't upset them. For one, you haven't got a voice when you're a child, but as an adult, if you haven't got a voice, you're in trouble. If you had the voice as a child, your parents are in trouble. If you haven't got that voice as a child, you're the one that's in trouble. I hope that's making sense. And when people come to see me and they realize where all that fear has come from, they can undo it. It's not so scary anymore. It's like the bogeyman, facing the bogeyman, you know, and they don't have to do that anymore. They don't have to self-sabotage. They don't have to act out. They don't have to glitch, and they don't have to hurt themselves anymore, because that's what it is. It's they don't learn to hurt the abuser. Sorry, they don't learn to hate the abuser. I'm sorry to say, but they learn to hate themselves. They feel they're not good enough, or they're not worthy. They're not worthy of love. They're not worthy of having a successful relationship. And you know, people, I find, that's what they've lost. Self-love. Everybody else comes first. Everybody goes first. They keep themselves busy all the time. So they don't have to face anything. They start to take, you know, different substances, so they don't have to think. They don't have to face those demons, if you like. But it's a bit like the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy goes along that yellow brick road, and then when she gets there, when they pull back the curtains, it's a little old man, with the wheel, keeping it all going, just a little withered old man. But in your mind's eye, as you go through, if you like, they've become, like an ogre. They're like 7 foot tall, and you're just so, insignificant, if you like. And it's really, it's sad, but it doesn't have to be. You can turn these things around. I had one lady a couple of weeks ago. She was 72. She'd held on to this for all those years. And when she realised the pattern, and she saw, For her, it was a light bulb moment. And all she said was, my God, I've wasted all those years. And it had affected all the choices that she made throughout her life. And she was still that scared little girl, scared of her mum, felt unloved, unworthy, And so she made some, sad choices throughout her life, shall we say. But it doesn't have to be like that. Doesn't have to be like that. But it's never too old. It's never too late to turn those things around, you know. And if anybody's struggling, then please, just give me a call. You can always look up Dr. Bob Johnson if you like on YouTube, and he talks about it at length about what it is we do. But he's 87 now, and he's passed on that gift, if you like, to very few of us. And I think I'm the only one here in Australia doing this, to be honest. Um, but it's extremely powerful. That, as well as hypnotherapy, the pair go so well. They go hand in hand so well together. And it is extremely, extremely powerful, and it changes lives. So never underestimate the power that you've got, the power that you've got in yourself. You created this in the background of your mind. It makes sense to go back to the beginning and just clear it all out. When you go to the doctors and, I'll give an example, anxiety. And the first thing they do is give you medication. And really, what you've created in the background of your mind is, if you can imagine, it's like an open wound. And, when they give you medication, that's like putting a band-aid over that wound. You rip that band-aid off, it's still there. But when you start glitching with the anger, with the rage, with the anxiety, with the depression, OCD even, it's like that open wound has become infected. And so by putting the band-aid on, it's still there. That infection is still there, throbbing in the background. But you rip that band-aid off and you clear out that infection, clean it, it heals. And you can put those things behind you and you can start a clean slate. You don't have to have that abuse anymore in your life. That program doesn't have to run in the background anymore. But you'll know when you're ready. And when you are, just send me a message. It's not an issue. And I do offer a free 30-minute consultation before I agree to see anybody, because it's not suitable for everybody, because you have to want that change for yourself. I can't, I want to say I can't do this for you. I can, but I can only do so much. I can hold your hand and I can take you there, but you've got to want to go there. You've got to be prepared to go there. Nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do, contrary to all belief. So, as I say, I do offer a free 30-minute consultation. And those emotions, that unprocessed rage, it doesn't have to affect you anymore. But you've got to want that change. You've got to be ready for that change. And it's that fear that you've held on for such a long time. You'll find really it's just like the Wizard of Oz once you face it. It's that little wizard old man that can't hurt you anymore. But until you face it, it's going to be a giant. It's going to be 7 foot tall. So with that, I'll say goodbye. And again, you can always message me, and I'm always happy to talk. So take care and thank you for listening.